Hey, what's up guys, it's CalebX01. Thank you for joining me again for another one of my random horror reviews. Today's movie is one that I think I've actually briefly spoken about before on my channel. I said something along the lines of this was my favourite werewolf movie of all time. And yeah, this movie is tons of fun, and every time I watch it, I am highly entertained. However, though, it had been a hot minute since I last checked it out, so it was great for a rewatch. Today's movie is Ginger Snaps. This is my Ginger Snaps trilogy put out by Via Vision. Got all three. Obviously, it's got all three movies in it. That's what makes it a fucking trilogy. But yeah, if you watched my latest collection update, you would have seen me show this off. But actually, since my collection update, this stayed wrapped on my shelf for the longest time. But obviously, deciding to revisit and review it for you guys today gave me the perfect excuse to unwrap it and check out this movie again. So, going into the plot for Ginger Snaps before we go into my thoughts of it. We follow these two sisters, one played by Emily Perkins, the other Catherine Isabel, and they are, I don't know the best term to say it, like emo goth, something along those lines. They're into the darker side of life, the more macabre, morbid side of things, like some people are, but they are outcasts. They don't have much in common with the people they go to school with or even their family, but these two sisters are tight, they're close, they like to do, as I said, the darker side of things. They like to do photography where they pretend they're dead and things along those lines. Ginger, who is played by Catherine Isabel, is slightly older though, and as I said, they're really close, but Ginger starts to develop. She has I don't know what word I'm allowed to use on YouTube, she has her time of month, and she starts to change, but also, in sync with that, she is attacked by a werewolf. And I'm going to leave it there, and it's the story about how these two sisters go about it. One sister is changing in two different ways, as I was mentioning, and yeah, this movie is really interesting, and I'm really excited to talk about it. So today's movie, Ginger Snaps. Now, the first thing that I want to bring up with this movie is I really love the feel and aesthetic of this one. I mean, right from the opening shot, it has that early 2000s charm, and of course it's going to have it. This movie is actually from the year 2000, but I just mean it suits the movie so well. The movie feels super cold, wet, muggy. The film takes place in autumn. The climax of the movie actually takes place on Halloween, so has that vibe as well. Again, suits the movie so well. The setting of this one is also really cool. It's like this quiet, small town. You can just tell they're surrounded by woods though. Yeah, just super cool vibe. And whether scenes are happening at the school or at their home, which is in this neighborhood, like this white picket fence neighborhood, it's just so cool. And as I said, the vibe and feel of this movie, the aesthetic just suits it so well. Now, with this being a werewolf movie, of course I gotta bring up the effects and the gore. Both of them are fucking outstanding, but starting with the gore, this movie still just surprises me with how gory it actually is, no matter how many times I've seen it. The gore still just blows my mind. But going along with that, how brutal it is as well. Every attack is so fucking hardcore, and like, as I said, just they really go for it. One that still catches me off guard is the first attack on Ginger, the one where she gets bitten and starts her transformation into being a werewolf. She is like screaming, being dragged away, tossed around. Her wounds by the end of it are like so bloody and gory, they're savage. Yeah, just the brutal attacks and gore in this one is amazing. The effects in this one also really fucking good. It makes me squirm, the mixture of body horror that goes into this one, because unlike some werewolf movies where it just happens in an instant, she's slowly transforming into one. So, you know, she grows hair in weird places, she grows a tail. I don't want to give too much away, but there's like body horror elements that goes into it, and it still makes me fucking squirm. And mixing that with, you know, some things that come with puberty, it can be uncomfortable at moments, but that's what I love. It just makes me squirm. I love that too. The werewolf design, it's maybe not the best. I've definitely seen better werewolves. But again, it sort of just adds to the charm of the movie. So the gore and effects in this one still really fucking top notch. Something I want to bring up quickly before I go deeper into this review, which I really feel like is the selling point to this movie actually, the relationship and dynamics between these two sisters. You know, we have the slightly older sister Ginger, who is changing not just in the way of she's becoming a werewolf, but as I said, she's going through puberty and she's having those changes in her life where she's starting to find different interests and things that, you know, are taking attention away from her younger sister, Bridget. As I said, they were always like this, but changes are starting to happen, and you're starting to see these two split. And we're mostly following Bridget, trying to keep it together and take care of her sister, even though her sister is, as I said, changing in two ways, but it's really fucking good. Both of the actresses do such a good job. You can really feel the sense of love in this relationship, even when Ginger at times turns her back on Bridget. It really, to me, is the selling point of this movie, and take away some aspects of it. Just watching these two and their scenes together is really fucking good, but, put everything back on it, the growing apart, the werewolf elements. This movie is just so much fucking fun, but I really do feel like the relationship between these two is the selling point and is a reason to check it out alone. This movie also actually has a pretty long runtime. I believe it's just short of 2 hours, but does not feel like that at all. The movie just constantly has things going for it. The characters are super engaging, as I said. There's always just something happening. It just does not feel like 2 hours. If anything, it feels like half of that. It feels like this movie flies by, and I love it for that. Another thing I want to bring up is a very niche thing. I love in movies where there's those suspense scenes where a character has done something wrong and they're trying their best to cover it up. However, there is a character who is unknowingly almost stumbling upon the thing that they're trying to cover up. And this movie has one of my favorite examples ever. It's that scene in the kitchen where the mum is opening the freezer and all that. I love that in movies, and this movie has one of the best examples. It's so fun and lighthearted, but also just dark as well. It just suits the vibe of the movie so well. I just really love this movie. I forgot to say that as well. As dark and, disturbing as it is at sometimes, as I said, the gore, surprises me every time I check this one out. It really goes hardcore at some points. This movie is also surprisingly really fun. I just want to throw that in there as well. But, I'm gonna wrap up this movie because I could really talk about this one all day. I really love Ginger Snaps, but I'm just gonna go straight to the rating now. I'm gonna give Ginger Snaps a 9 out of 10. As I said, could be my favorite werewolf movie of all time. I feel like I'm gonna stand by that remark. Of course, there are some really good ones out there, but if you have not seen Ginger Snaps, I really would recommend it. And pick up this Ginger Snaps trilogy. After rewatching Ginger Snaps, I'd never seen any of the sequels. I actually put on the second one the other day. It was okay, but I'd only seen it the once. I don't really feel like reviewing it because I was sort of checking out at points because I was doing other things, but I just love movies where it's so fucking good you just race to watch the sequel, and that's what I was doing with the revisit this time. But as I said, Ginger Snaps, 9 out of 10. I really fucking love this movie, and if you're interested in checking out werewolf horror movies, I feel like this is one that sort of flies under the radar. A lot of people talk about The Howling or An American Werewolf in London. Ginger Snaps, gotta check it out. It's so fucking good. So there we go, guys. Thank you for joining me again for another one of my random horror reviews. I appreciate everyone who is coming back to my channel and showing my videos support, liking and commenting. I really appreciate that. Thank you to all my subscribers. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. I really do appreciate it, guys. All the support really helps me. And I'm just really enjoying watching my channel grow, and even when it's not, people that are commenting and letting me know their thoughts on the movies or just having a chat, I really appreciate it, guys. But thank you for everyone for checking out this video, and hopefully I will have some more content coming your way soon, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in another video soon.